Hello, it's Jeannie. How are you? Good, I hope. It's nice to have you here in my channel, and I really appreciate you. I always want to start off by saying that because it's true, and I believe in expressing gratitude, and I am grateful whether you're watching this right away or sometime down the road. I hope you can find something within it that will help you. Today's video will be soft-spoken, mostly. Maybe a hint of whispering, but not too much. This video is basically a chit-chat, some blah blah blah, droning, because you know I'm good at that. And the goal is to help you relax, tune out, and find some peace. So get comfortable, relax, be able to recline or lie back or just relax in bed and listen to my voice. And we're going to let the day's noises and thoughts just drift away. I've been thinking about how many of us come to ASMR, how we found it, why we still tune into it, what it does for us. And I know there are lots of different reasons that have brought people to the ASMR path. Personally, I found it quite by accident. I think I've always known about it from a very young child when a teacher would be reading a book and it was wrapped in that cellophane and she would hold it and it would crinkle. That triggered tingles for me. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I liked it. And I would sit on the floor during story time and just listen and wait for her to move that book in such a way that it crinkled. And then the page turning. Oh. I also loved the smell of books, new books, old books. That to me was also a real, a very visceral trigger. It was the smell of books. So I know there are lots of pathways that brought us all here to ASMR. I'm going to address two that I kind of see as predominant. The first group is those who are looking to just relax, unwind, listen to some soft voice, a little blah blah blah, not a lot of specific content, but just something to tune out to take away the cares of the day, sometimes the chaos of the day, of our jobs, of relationships, of family, traffic. It's all out there. There's no escaping it sometimes. And then there's that other group that I also want to address. And some of you have made yourselves known publicly on the comments and privately in some of the emails you've sent me. And I really hold those dear to my heart, that you would open up to me. And so this video is kind of dedicated to you. Those are people who are not only seeking quiet and calm and droning blah, 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 but also a sense of comfort, seeking a feeling of safety, and tapping into some nurturing, maybe nurturing that you remember from being a child or wish you had had from some time in your past. You're seeking it now, and sometimes within ASMR you find it, even if it's just a little bit. So if I can provide you that, I'm very honored. And I'm very grateful that you allow me in to do that. You know, I don't come to you from some ivory tower with a perfect life behind me. Things happen to us all along the way, along our walk on this little planet. Personally, I have had some tough things happen. I lost my brother at a very young age, who was my very best friend. He was 17, I was 16. Later on in life, I lost a son who was 20 in a car accident. I lost my other brother due to another accident. And then my father, but that was a natural passing, and so I don't consider that a tragedy, although it's sad because I loved him a great deal. And he brought such joy to not only my life, but pretty much everyone who met him. So I've pulled from my memories of just some of my chaotic and painful past to be able to make this video and talk to you about what it means to hold that and how to hold that within your life. What do I mean by holding it? When my first brother died, I remember one day, within just a couple days of his death, standing in my room, in front of my dresser, next to a mirror, and I looked at myself, and it was as if my higher self was part of that viewing, as if something bigger in me was looking at the me of the here and now. I know that may not make sense, but I knew that experience was going to define me in a way, that it was going to be part of a very big story in my life. Losing my brother, losing my best friend. And it wasn't a voice, but it was a feeling, a sensation from that higher self, whatever you call it, asking me, how are you going to hold this entire experience? And I pondered that question. I knew I could let it help define me in a way that I could use to be better. And even in my 16-year-old self, not fully even understanding what that meant, I knew it was a significant enough of an event that I could use it and hold it in such a way that I could be better for it, stronger for it, deeper for it, softer for it, more tender. And I didn't quite know what that would look like, but I chose that right there in that moment. As life went on, relationships came and went, and life happens, right? Ups and downs, trials and tribulations. I often looked back on that day, and I often asked myself, how am I going to hold this experience? What am I going to let it do for me? Not to me, but for me. And I made a conscious choice to use it for good. When my 20-year-old son was killed in a car accident, I remember being right back in my bedroom at 16, listening to that higher voice ask me, how are you going to hold this? And I'm not saying there wasn't grief or sadness or rage and denial and all those things that come with loss. But I also knew that I was going to let it, allow it to make me better. I don't know in what way, but I was going to just surrender to something good. Does that make sense? One thing I discovered along this path was that where I put my energy, where I put my focus, where I put my attention, was my point of attraction for what was going to return to me. That's a big statement right there. And I liken it to this: walking through a field of weeds everywhere. But within those weeds, there are a few flowers, beautiful flowers. And I will focus on those flowers and be grateful for those flowers. It doesn't deny the reality of those weeds. They're still there. But I choose to notice, appreciate, admire, and be grateful for the few flowers that I come upon. As you listen to me, as you watch me, as you hear my voice, I hope that you find a sense of safety and comfort and nurturing, because that's what I wish for you. I want you to know the flowers are out there if you're feeling in the weeds. They're there. Choose to focus on them. Choose to expect them. Choose to find them and have them find you. Attract them. Sometimes our brains are in habits of focusing on, I don't want to call it the negative, but focusing on the narrative of a story that is painful, hard, difficult. And because of that habit of focus, we bring a lot of energy to that. And choosing to focus away from that takes a little muscle. And I don't know where that muscle comes from. Somewhere between here and here. But again, let's think about a field. A field of tall grass. Okay? Nobody's walked in this field. This field is like your brain. Now, imagine with me that you're going to walk across this field, and you can choose any pathway that you want. And as you step and put one foot in front of the other, you knock down some of the tall grass, and you make a little bit of a path. Now, it's your first time crossing this field, so some of that grass pops right back up. It's not a strong pathway that you've created. Now, if you do it again, you'll probably see remnants of that pathway that you walked before. It might not be easy, but you might be able to see traces of your footsteps from before. So you take that same path, and then again, and again. Now, this is a simple example, and I think you understand. The more times you walk that path, the more it creates a permanent pathway. The brain is the same way. You create neural pathways based on what you do, what you say, and how you think. And so sometimes we get into a loop, I know this for a fact with myself, of saying something, giving energy to something, and it becomes a pathway that can be hard to deviate from. And so I'm asking you to consider exploring another pathway. When you know you're on the pathway of feeling bad, focusing on something negative, painful from the past, I'm inviting you to take a right turn. Try a new pathway. It's going to be a little hard at first, but even one step knocks the grass down. And then a second step knocks it down even further. And then you do it again and again and again, a little bit each time, even if it's just one step. You build a new pathway. And as you build that new pathway, your intentions are to focus on the flowers, the butterflies, the unicorns, the little woodland creatures, whatever makes you happy. Something good with each step, something that is higher energy. It's not easy at first, but you can do it. I invite you to try. It doesn't undo the weeds of the old path. I know that. And some of those things are hard. But I'm hoping that you will learn to explore new paths that make you feel good, that bring you comfort, safety, nurturing, and joy. Because that's why we're here, to experience joy, to find joy, whatever that is for you. And so, if in some way I can help take you onto a new path once in a while, then I feel very, very honored. And I would like you to imagine holding my hand and trusting me and taking steps along with me. And with each step, you feel good. You feel safe. And you know you can do this. Have you ever asked yourself, how did I get onto this YouTube channel? How did I find this person? Did I just show up in your feed? Perhaps. Maybe you searched something and up came my face. Doesn't matter how, but it matters that it did. And whether you're listening to this as soon as I upload it, or a week, or a month, or a year from now, the words are true. You can do it. You can use whatever situation and experience you've had in your life as a building block for something bigger and better and safer and more comforting. I believe that it's not always easy. Sometimes getting from point A to point Z is difficult, painful, uncomfortable, but we can do it. And it's just believing and knowing that somebody else believes in you as well. And so, again, I invite you to step out there onto a new pathway and create something good, even if it's just simple stuff. I'm glad you're here. I don't have all the answers. My kids think I do. My husband thinks I do, but I don't. But what I do have is faith in myself that everything will be okay, no matter what. I trust in myself. I trust in the universe. I trust in God. I trust in a new pathway if needed. And I trust that I will attract exactly the tools and energies and people into my life that will help me be a better me. And I want you to know that I believe that you can be a better you, whatever that is. I'm not a psychologist. I know my words are simple, but I hope they can provide you with a little bit of hope or faith in yourself. I want you to know there are people who care, whether we've met face to face, eyeball to eyeball, or not. There are people that care and want good for you. So, if you're in that second group of people who seek ASMR for that need of nurturing, I hope this gives you some. And if you're in the first group and you've just been able to listen to my blah 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 and relax, I'm glad for that as well. Sometimes the day can be so noisy in our heads, and sometimes the stresses of what we deal with keep those stress hormones at a high level that aren't good for us. And so we need to just let them dissipate. Bring those cortisol levels down. Tune out. Relax. And let go of that noise and let go of that stress. And I hope I've helped you to do that to some small degree. So, again, I appreciate you, all of you, anyone who is stopping, pausing on this channel to watch it. My prayer is that there's something, some kernel that can help you. Because we all have gifts. And if it's my voice that can help you, I'm truly happy. And I hope you discover your gifts of things that you can offer to the world. Because they're there. And just your being here on my channel is a gift to me. And I am truly grateful for your viewership. I am humbled by your comments. I am humbled by your honesty and your trust in me and your opening up to me. And I don't take that for granted. So, for now, I will leave you with that. And I hope you are able to relax, tune out, focus on something really good, or even just a little good. And I wish you a huge sense of safety, nurturing, comfort, and love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your comments. And I appreciate you. I truly, truly do. Please let me know about your new pathways. Nothing would make me happier than to hear something good. Relax, relax, relax. And I hope you have a very pleasant sleep. And know I'll be back. And I'll see